Yo, watch.
What you know about me? Seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me? I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me?
Oh shit! I left the joint on. That's how you know I was so excited. I left the joint on because who gives you 2 podcasts in one day? Who does that? It's us. More than the title. I'm your host as usual. It's Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer, Outside the Box Digital. You know I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What is good once again, my bro?
Listen, let me tell you something. I got the Dendu. That's not the Dendu, but it will do.
You know what I'm saying? I'm drinking outright right out the can on them.
and I found my cup. I had to somebody hijacked me for my cup, but I got it back. You know what I'm saying?
Be careful with that straw.
Yeah, the straw is nuts. I ain't gonna hold you. Yo, good call out on that.
Be careful with that.
The straw is out of control, out of compliance. It's very diddler.
But ladies and gentlemen, listen. You know how we like to start the show, man. G&T is always grateful and thankful. We're grateful again. This is our second show today. Again, grateful to be able to get up, grateful to be able to do what we love to do, grateful to be able to give you this content. You know what I'm saying? With a smile on our face because we love what we motherfucking do. And we thankful for all the supporters, all the listeners, everybody that stops us in the street and say, yo, we love what y'all doing. Keep going. Support doesn't cost a dime. You understand? It's the words of encouragement, the text that we get. We love it all. We appreciate you. Without you guys, this show does not exist. G&T, grateful and thankful.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Definitely appreciate the love. And you just never know who's watching, yo.
That's a fact.
That's the realest thing about doing content. You never know, man. I got a text. Actually, one of my people's a funny story before we start, bro. One of my men said he saw you at Mingles at the hookah spot. One of my men.
Not me. Talk about you.
Definitely ain't seen me in no motherfucking.
He said, hey, you had to be you.
Me?
He said, what?
As you spoke.
He got the spot wrong. He was like, I saw because I was a bouncer. I saw him. I gave him love. Yada, yada, yada. He's like, yo, just long story short, I love what the fuck y'all doing, man. We grew up from the sandbox and shit. He's like, hey, Mingles.
I thought you talking about Kachi. Me and Kachi was together 2 nights ago.
Oh, where with Kachi?
Agave.
This ain't Kachi everywhere.
Yeah, nigga. He was in there like the mayor, nigga. I just stood to the side when he seen me. He like, yo, what's up? Nigga, I seen you 15 minutes ago, but you kissing babies and shaking hands. I gotta let you do your numbers, my nigga. Like,
man, that's my boy.
That's the fact, yeah.
Shout out to my dog. Yo, you know, shout out to our distribution partners as well, the Live Podcast Network. First woman-owned, black-owned podcast network and the largest black-owned podcast network in the world. Shout out to Angel Levis and the entire team. You already know, and if you want more content, like more than the title, make sure you grab your phones, scan the QR code, and download the app. And plus, half of your subscription goes to your content creator of your choice. So if you want to see this, you want to keep it going, you want to see more content from more than the title, make sure y'all show some love, man, because we don't just talk it, we walk it, we support our own, you dig? And that's what we doing today as always. You know what I'm saying? And for first-time listeners, this is no different than any other episode. We're going to celebrate our own. We got a brother here today who's from the culture, who's doing amazing things in the corporate world with big major brands. And we're going to go through the story and celebrate this brother as usual. And with that said, let's give him the intro as he
Let's start the show.
Get it rocking and let's get it popping, man.
You already know.
First of all, this brother is the global senior manager of storytelling at Adidas. He blends his deep passion for sports with his expertise in marketing communications to craft authentic, powerful stories that resonates with audiences around the world. He has over 6 years of experience in the sports and fashion industry and has led successful marketing initiatives across creative, social, PR, digital analytics, and media channels. And his perspective comes from a 12-year career as a professional ball player competing in 15 countries. And that deep understanding of the culture and the purpose of sports fuses commitment to telling the stories and inspiring people around the world. Let's introduce our brother, Larry Hall Jr., y'all. Falling on him, dog.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. I want to say, like we tell all our guests, we appreciate you. Welcome to the show, brother. Thanks, bro. We appreciate you allowing us to be able to cultivate your story the way you want it to be told. No sound bites and all that. So we appreciate you trusting us with that. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Mandatory.
Yes, sir.
Hand it to him, you know what I'm saying?
And I keep it real. I'll tell you exactly how I even found your profile, bro. How we met. So we like to keep it real, bro. Like so. Dre's my guy. Shout out to Andre Gray. So that you guys did an activation together. He tagged you on LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, cool. He's working with Adidas. What's up? And I looked at your profile. You ball and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, cool. I love to see us controlling narratives at these big brands, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Tell the truth. He a basketball head. That's why he gravitated. So he real, though. You play ball. He played ball. Just say you want another ball player on it. Yeah, I mean,
when do they put a brother that's from the culture that plays ball in a position where you can actually make some shit happen? That doesn't happen.
That's
a
fact. That does not happen often. I mean, that's a great segue. Let's start with what even got you interested in playing basketball? Because we always talk about like kids and sports and things of that nature. So let's start with your early days, man. What even got you interested and how did you end up playing basketball?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up playing soccer. That was my first sport that I played. My older sister and I, we played soccer. And then around like, I don't know, maybe like third or fourth grade, in the recess, stuff like that. They roll the ball out, you play, stuff like that. I'll never forget my dad picking me up one time. And I remember he was like, how was school? And I was like, forget all that. I want to do that. Like, how can we do that? My pops didn't know nothing about basketball. He was a wrestler in high school. He went and bought books, tapes, all sorts of stuff to learn how to teach me how to play basketball. And I mean, like I instantly fell in love. The difference between like hoopers and like football players. Like I'll never forget, my mom came to a football game of mine when I was playing tackle football, and she knew who I was on the field. I was just another person. But with a basketball, you are able to captivate the entire audience because when you have the ball in your hands like a quarterback, everybody sees you, see your face, name on the back of your jersey, everything. So initially it was for that, but then as I got older, I just started falling in love with the process of like being the best version of myself and always challenging and pushing myself to be the best athlete that could possibly be, that's so, I mean, it was, people will tell you that know me for a long time that I was crazy for the sport. Like, honestly, I mean, I got cut 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I sat the bench pretty much every year in high school, walked on, college, pretty much put myself in position to play overseas too. I just flew overseas on my own. I was like, I'm gonna make it. There's no way y'all gonna tell me I'm not gonna make it.
Hold on, because you're speeding, bro, and the story's fire.
Yeah, sorry.
Nah, bro, but you said you was on the bench 6th through 8th grade. So junior high year, you're on the bench.
I got cut. I never make team every year.
Damn, and in high school, you said you was pretty much bench, but you still working out, still grinding, doing it, going through the circuit. I'm assuming you're doing AAU, all that shit.
No, I mean, like, again, just because nothing against like my family situation, we just weren't connected into the AAU scene. Okay. It wasn't really that prevalent back then. There was AAU, but it's not like how it is now. So I was like, people knew me, but they didn't know me, if that makes sense. Like I didn't really have a name, so it was a little difficult to kind of like leapfrog and make those leaps and bounds that I need to be as an athlete. So I mean, I just kept working. Back then there was no trainers. It was like you get dropped off at the gym, you're there 8 hours. You got to figure it out. Like I didn't have to work on nothing. Everything that I got still to this day was just more or less like situational. Oh, I got to go through my legs because I got to get this way. You know what I mean? It wasn't like drill it. I just had to do it.
But what is the process of? I would love it, bro, because I was a baller too, bro. I had scholarships, St. Raymond's, Mount St. Michael. Yeah. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. The streets got to me. You know what I'm saying? I stopped still in Rucker and all that. But what's the process of walking on at a college, bro? Because the odds of you making a team at the collegiate level, walking on when people have scholarships, they got favoritism. There's certain players who had the eye.
Scouting already, got the scouting done. Right.
Like, what does that process look like, bro?
Well, I mean, again, I'm a little older than most right now. So back then it was a situation where you come to a school. I went it was Portland State, so got into the school on my own, not my own, but my grades. Went up there, spoke to the coach, told him I was interested. He kind of like back then he's like, "You got any tape?" I'm like, "No." I was like, "I'm good. You just gotta trust me." So he's like, "Yeah, they have to have scholarships. They have not scholarships. They have to have tryouts. I mean, it's like mandatory for D1 schools to have trials. However, the trials are kind of like hush, hush, wink, wink type stuff. They already know who's coming and stuff like that. So it's like it's a process that most people are not able to really excel in. So with all that being said, I was playing intramurals, and I'm the gym where they would have intramurals was the main gym, and the basketball coach's office was like right there. I'm in there destroying everybody. like so to the point where they started hearing about me. And I remember the coach came to me after a couple of intramural games. He was like, "Hey, you know, what's your story?" I was like, "Do you remember me? I came in August and I won the trial." He was like, "Oh, that's you." I was like, yeah. Same thing. He literally told me, "Hey, private workout next Saturday," and the rest is kind of history.
Okay, hold on. I love that story, but before we get too far, man, I want to give a huge shout out to your father. You said something that was super, super important that we cannot speed through. You said that your father was a wrestler in high school. I love your father because I used to wrestle in high school. I slam niggas on their neck, suplex them. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he didn't know anything about the sport and he took the time to realize if this is important to my son, then I need to learn how to support him and what he wants to do. Now, he could have very easily tried to get you to follow what he was doing and become a wrestler. See, that's a key, right? Because a lot of parents nowadays, and back then also, they want their children to be many versions of themselves and kind of following their path, right? So for the fact that he educated himself the best way that he could by videos and books and whatever media that he had accessible to him at that time to help support you is a phenomenal thing. Once again, that shows the importance of having a father figure in your life and helping you grow and support. So I just want to, I got to give the horns and a shout out to your
I'm sorry. I had to give you a Diddy talk to him too, though. That was fun.
Yeah. Shout out to your father for acknowledging that. You know how important it was to you and taking the chance and say, hey, if this is what he want to do, let me go ahead and try to help him be the best that he can, man. You know what I mean?
Beyond that, yeah, he definitely nurtured my love for the game. There was never a situation where I wasn't able to, go somewhere and try to be the best version of myself because he was there to take me, drop me off, my mom too. So it was just collectively, they just made sure I was put in the best situation to be the best version of myself.
That's real, bro.
Yeah.
That's real, man. And like you said, bro, without that support system, there's no way you have the confidence to go in, walk on, bust their ass and be like, I'm gonna make it through hook or crook, bro. Like it takes a special, you know what I mean? You gotta have that drive, determination. I'm gonna get my mom and them. I'm tired of seeing this, seeing that. I'm gonna get this shit popping. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the one that does this. You know what I mean?
But look what he said too. He said that they also took him to the games. Yeah. He made sure they got there, right? So another thing, like, I played football, right? A lot of people that was super nice in football couldn't afford the camp. See, when you play in high school, you got to go to camp. Camp at that time was like $400 or $500. You go over the summer. You understand? People couldn't afford the camp. If you couldn't afford the camp, a lot of times your chances of making the team was minimal because they looked at it as a commitment level. Like you're not really, because they recruited me for football. I played football going into high school. But if you didn't have money to go to camp, a lot of times you wouldn't even make the team because there was so many people that they felt like were showing more commitment, even though, look, financial resources don't define a person's commitment, but that's kind of how they looked at it, right? If you're not there to do the training and do the training and bond with the team in the camp, by the time the season comes, the team is already kind of formulated. You're not really going to fit in. You're going to have a very hard time fitting in. So shout out to them for that, man. That's super important. Again, another person that shows you his success is based on having two parents, right? This is the things that we talk about, the importance of having a mother and a father, whether they're together or not, present in a child's life. It can help save a child's life, right? That's the message.
It takes a village for sure. I had my uncles as well. Like I had so many positive influences in my life, men and women, to where it was a situation where I always tell people when I get a chance to talk to them, I'm a legacy. My grandfather, from my grandfather down, I couldn't fail. To this day, I don't see that as an option ever. Like I struggled with a lot of confidence growing up because you're not playing, you're not doing well, stuff like that. But I always knew deep down inside I had it. I was just waiting for that opportunity. And one day I just kept at it. And it happened. My opportunity popped, and then the rest is, like I said, it's kind of history.
Shit. So when you walked on and you made it on the team, what spot on the rotation was you? Was you somebody that was getting burned, or was you
like, the story gets better. So I'm rotation guy, maybe 19 out of 15, if that makes sense. So like I was low on the totem pole. Like I just was on the team because, you walk on as a freshman or whatever the case would be, they have scholarship players. It's almost the same thing now. They usually play the lane guys, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and then after that freshman year, we got a new coach. The new coach that came in didn't really mess with me. I wasn't his recruit, quote unquote. So I mean, he pretty much like pushed me out. And then I literally, I mean, I dropped out of school. Man, I was like so messed up in the head that he didn't want me on the team. So I just dropped out of school. I was just living in Portland by myself, just, kicking it and having fun. And then again, I was 24-hour fitness, dragging everybody. Coaches started coming to me that would be there, heard about me, asking me to come. My uncle, shout out to my uncle Donald Shaw up in Portland. He had a friend who was a coach at the school where I graduated at Western Oregon, Division II. And he was like, he just hit me up one day. He's like, do you still want to play? And I was like, absolutely. He was like, okay, this is your last chance. Like, you need to figure it out. I was dealing with a little bit of a knee injury. I remember just popping like some painkillers, and I went out there and just gave everything I had. And coach saw he liked what he saw, and I was on the team. I finished my school there. I finished actually really like 3 years. I graduated like 3 years, and yeah, I mean, I wasn't. My college career wasn't what it should have been, but again, it's something I started and something I finished. I always tell that to younger people: like, you start something, finish it. Don't be known for someone. Don't be known as a quitter. So I made sure I finished. Got my degree, finished my 4 years eligibility, and then, like I said, I made my way overseas. So I mean, even to my coaches, even to my coach in Division II, who I remember going into my senior year, he asked me what I wanted to do after basketball, and I was like, I want to play overseas, and they laughed at me. He was like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a ha 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 ha, but it was like a little deep chuckle, like, oh yeah, like, all right, okay, type thing. Yeah. But again, one thing I always say a lot now: create, don't wait. When it comes to opportunities, if you wait on opportunity, it may never come. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations sometimes, and be ready to walk through that door when that door opens, because the door, it might not even open all the way. It might just like crack a little bit. You see a little light, you got to be ready. And if you just waiting around, you might miss it, and then door closed and never open again. I was pulling on doors, every door I could, and one door jiggled a little bit, and I ran through it. And then, like I said, I was a professional athlete, which was crazy.
He beat me to it, cuz I passed it on the West. So let me ask you a question, Larry. What at the time you were because as a sports player myself, you might go in as one thing and end up changing depending on the team's needs, right? So like, what position were you primarily, and what was your stats? Like, how tall are you? What was your weight? And then what did you finish off as?
So I'm 6'2". I mean, when I was in my playing weight, I was about 185, 195. I'm a big body. Think of a non-bouncy Baron Davis. So that's kind of like the body type. I would say a healthy Baron. When I was in college, I was strictly just playing the two. I mean, I could shoot, but I was not a shooter. And then when I got overseas, I'll never forget. The coach was like, gave me the ball and was like, "We just need to win." I was like, "Wait, but what's the game plan? Win." I'm like, all right. So I went. I went into it. Yeah, right. I pulled out everything. I went so deep in my bag. Stuff that I forgot I even knew I could do anymore. I'm coming down, pulling up in transition, and I'm looking at the coach, and he's like, "Come on, just keep going." I'm like, "Oh, all right, yeah." In college, you take a bad shot. Come on, come sit right here. So that was so different for me. I mean, that changed, and then that's when the confidence started coming. I was like, "Oh, y'all really like gonna let me rock? All right, cool. I got it now. I figured it out now. I'm gonna go out there and give y'all everything I got." So.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, that shit definitely plays a part, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, bro, let's take us back from where you had the conversation with your coaches. They did the chuckle, like, "Yo, yeah, dog." What was that from the graduation? What was the plan to actually play overseas? You hired an agent? Did you go? What was the workouts, the trials? What countries did you go to, bro? What does that look like? The first opportunity.
Yeah. So I have one of my college roommates. He was the center on our team. JT Mitchell, he was like all league, being in as a roommate, and him getting letters from agents and offers and stuff like that. That was like just it. I wasn't like upset. We were two different positions for one. I was super happy for him, but it was starting to like build that like energy inside me. That boy, I was like, I can do this too. I can do this too. But unfortunately,
my fault, bro. I gotta hit you with one of these real quick.
What happened?
You know how we be, bro. I'm happy for you, but bro, I'm fucking killing your ass.
Right. So after I graduated, I moved to the city, and I got a job at 24 Hour Fitness, some some gym, 24-hour gym in Portland. I mean, it's all usually on the West Coast, and I'm selling memberships. Got me in this little funky suit. I still have long hair now, but I had longer hair, and it was just they had made me comb it out every day. I couldn't wear a nappy. It was all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah. And I remember just being at every day. I used to come in and I used to be like, I hate it here, like literally hate it here. I had another good friend. His name's Kevin Tyner. He's one of my closest friends to this day. He hit me up and was like, "Yo, you can play overseas." And I was like, "Yo, we're good friends. You're my boy, like family, but don't play with me. Like, don't tell me that." He was like, "You can." I'm like, all right. So that was, stuff started checking off. I started taking my training a little more serious, started lifting more weights, like just focusing on things that I need to do to get better so that I can go over. Yeah. All those things. And then the final nail in the coffin, essentially, I had another roommate after college. His name is Chucky Frierson. Shout out to Chuck. He went to Finland, and this is the situation where I love him to death, but I felt I was better than him. He got a job. I was like, all right. I just literally, and I literally put my 2 weeks notice. Right. I put my 2 week notice in. I packed up everything I had. I didn't know how to travel back then. I didn't know what was going on. I packed up everything I had, and I took a one-way flight to Finland. I never been there. I ain't never been overseas. I know nothing about nothing. I literally got there. When I got there, it started pouring rain. Like, I'm talking about like thunderstorms. I'm outside waiting for a bus. I don't know who's picking me up. I'm just out here just getting rained on. I'm like, if I'm gonna make it, God, I gotta make it. Like this is tough. I get there. I'm sleeping on this couch. Shout out to Chuck again for letting me, for providing that opportunity for me. I'm going to every game that I can go to. I'm just holding the basketball in my hand. I'm just like, dribbling through my legs, watching these other Americans play, stuff like that. I'm like, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. I'm better than him. No lie. I'll cook all y'all. I went to a game one time, and then one of the assistant coaches for one of the teams, my very first team in Nokia, same as the phone company. He saw me. He came over to me and was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm here to hoop." He was like, "Are you any good?" I was like, "Yep." He was like, "Well, our guard just got hurt," which I saw happen on the court. He was like, "Where you staying at?" I gave him all the information. He was like, "Can you come to practice next week?" I said, "Absolutely." So I get on the train, get to the practice. I don't know if I've ever played basketball this hard in my life. I'm talking about diving for loose balls. I'm taking charges. I'm making the hockey assists. I'm doing everything. Yeah. Got my first job for like 490 euros, which was back then. It was like $600. I didn't care. I told him, look, you could have got me for a meal and a cot. I was gonna hoop no matter what. Went there, and like I said, after that, once you get into the system, now you got a little name. Now you create something for yourself, and the rest is history, man. Honestly, at that point, I just was not gonna let it go. I was like, this is not gonna happen. I didn't work this hard. I didn't fly this far to like not be successful. So I went out there. I had a great season. I think I averaged like 18 that first year or something like that. Had a solid year, and then it just kind of like started building over that. I mean, there were years I definitely could have done more, but I started getting caught up in the mindset of, I'm a professional athlete, and those kind of things started happening to myself. But other than that, it was amazing. I mean, it's one of those things to this day I still cherish and always think about. It's like, keep thinking about it. I went over there at 23. I came back from Europe in 2021. So I'm 37, 38 now. So I mean, I pretty much grew up over there. Like I have I'm definitely yeah. So I was over there for a minute. So I mean, it definitely impacted the kind of person I am and kind of like how I see the world and different and stuff like that. Like I'm American, but I definitely have different views on how we as people should be treated based on what I've experienced abroad. So
talk about it.
Yeah.
Abroad, bro. Yeah.
I mean, we can get into it. Get into it. I mean, first thing first.
Wait, before we get that far, because again, this is super important. You just said that you had the support of the whole village and the family back home. Mm-hmm. You as a 22, 23-year-old to make the decision, not only just to leave, but to leave your entire family, your support system, mean that you were going over there essentially with no help, right? Yep. I mean, mentally, what helped you to make that type of decision? Yes, I understand your homie was giving you that opportunity, but as human beings, especially as in our culture, one of the hardest things to do is to change, right? To give up everything that you know is stable and go into the unknown. So just walk us through real quick that type of mentality that made you say, yo, I know my family's here. I know everything that I know is here, but I need to go there and execute that.
Well, I mean, there was nowhere else to do nothing after college. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to the league. So, I mean, there's nothing left after that. I mean, we're all former athletes. Excuse me. Like, your body times out at some point. So I knew if I didn't take this opportunity, this challenge, I'm going to look up at 30 and be like, man, what if because what was happening is this, as I was going through the process of like deciding to go overseas, every now and then I'll go to the gym and have one of those days, where everything was just connecting. And I was like, man, I got to figure this out. Like, I can't keep coming into the gym and just be, score 11 points, we win the game. I can't keep doing this to myself, because it was honestly causing stress. And, from me and my, like, internally, I wasn't happy where I was. And I knew I just needed to take this leap of faith and make something happen. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys know this. If you don't believe in yourself, how can someone else believe in you? Like, so, I mean, message. So I wear that on my sleeve. Like, I don't think I lack confidence anymore. I went through my whole adolescence kind of like struggling with confidence. Now as an adult, it's like, you either like me or you don't. I mean, one way or another, I'm gonna make something happen. So
yeah, but even if the matter of fact, I think to even piggyback off of Cousin's question, how long did it take you from getting to Finland to actually getting the role on the team?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Sheesh.
2 weeks.
Nigga, even that's a long time.
I mean, right. If you don't know,
your couch, bro, like, I don't know what's going on.
I'm talking about a little. We eating. I mean, me and Chuck were eating fish sticks, French fries. I was thugging it for sure. I was just making. I just, again, like I said, I didn't have a plan B. I made sure of that. I didn't want to give myself a plan B, because if a plan B, I'll just fall back on that. Like this, there was only one option, and that was to make it. So
that's crazy, bro.
And yeah.
You're on mute, bro. Bomba clad.
Again, right? We from New York, so we're from a very diverse melting pot. We know there's a lot of cultures here, a lot of different languages. You're going to Finland, right? Mm-hmm. So you're like, I'm going to Finland. I don't know how it is in Portland, but in New York, I don't know too many Finnish. They're called Finnish people, right? Finnish. Yeah, I don't know too many. Right. I don't know too many Finnish people, so I don't even know the language or what language they even speak. So again, there's that right off the back. Not only are you going to another country, you don't even know the language that to begin to even communicate what you want. That in itself can destroy
technology, not what it is now with the Google Translate and all that.
All that. There's no iMessage. This is like,
right.
I mean, I'm able. This is a BBM back in the day. Now,
right.
We're talking about BBM. Like, what I mean? Like, yeah.
Shit. I was gonna hit it with a wall about that.
Yeah. The BlackBerry Messenger. If you don't know nothing about that, if you didn't have a BlackBerry, I can talk to you. This is like my rookie year was before Skype, which is crazy. So I couldn't even talk to people. Like, I was writing letters type stuff. Like, it was hard. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, it was hard. But again, I got lost in the process, lost in the game, and I just was like, all right, well, I got free time. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna be at the gym all day. And again, like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think younger athletes today, they struggle a lot because social media, and you can get a job off of Instagram, which is still kind of crazy to me these days. But it's not the same as back in the day. We just roll the ball out. You gotta bring it. Like, some teams now will actually sign you because you have some kind of like liking and something like that, likeness.
Yeah,
we're gonna bring fans to the arena or to the team and stuff of that nature. So, but yeah.
Yeah, but how about that's where I wanted to go too, bro. Well, what does it look like building your brand there? Because I definitely want to talk about the experience of you being a black man over there. But like, if you're averaging 18, bro, you probably maybe a second, third option, maybe. But you up there. If you're averaging 18 a game, bro, how did you increase your earning opportunities, your earning potential, bro? Like, did they love you did you become a fan favorite? Then they had to hit you with more than 600 euros. Like, how did you?
Yeah. So how that typically works, I mean, back then, geez, I mean, obviously after that point, I got an agent. Now I had like stats, ad tape, had all the things that I didn't have coming into my internet. So I got an agent, and then once I got an agent, I just let them kind of like, I was super, super impatient though, because out there, I mean, like, if they didn't have a job for me soon, I was like, man, F it, I'm just going out. I got used to just hopping on birds, flying overseas, and just be there, because then I always tell other guys, don't mess up your career for a couple $100. There was guys way better than me, way better than me, but they were like so stuck on making a certain amount of money because they talked too much to their other friends, like, oh, he's making 5,000, I'm better than him, so I'm not going nowhere for less than 5,500. Bro, don't do that. Go for that 3,000. Go hoop, and in the middle of the season, if you got a dip and go make 6, it'll balance itself out. But dudes, because once you stop playing that one, you took a gap year, you don't, unless you a footer or super bouncy or just crazy talented, you took a gap year, you're not coming, they more likely you're not coming back. And if you come back, that number that you wanted before is even going to be less than half of that. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you say you were going to go for 5,500, you took a gap year because I'm not going for less than that. Now, when you come back, you only getting 2,000, maybe.
Okay, but hold on before you go further than that, because you know we're versed in it because we know people that play overseas and things of that nature. But for the listeners, right? When you talk about the pay scale, is this whatever you're getting paid, whatever the amount, is it per game, or is this, they say this is the offer for the season? And okay, for the season. And then how many games do you actually play over in Europe? What's their season look like over there?
Think about it from like a college perspective. So you'll probably play, depend on the league. Obviously the highest level in Europe is EuroLeague. And then you have like some tiers below that. So like a EuroLeague team, for instance, they'll play their domestic league as well as the international. So they'll travel and stuff like that. So they'll play, I think, 2 EuroLeague games a week and then 1 domestic game. So that's 3 into 4 is 12. So you might play 12 games a month over a course of 8 months. So it's like 60. So, I mean, 60 plus.
See, that's a lot of hooping. First of all, like, that's a lot of hooping. That's a lot of hooping, right? The wear and tear that alone can take on your body right off the back. You understand what I'm saying? Is enormous because that's a lot of hooping. 60 games, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I say retired, but I practice was towards it, like my mid 30s. I was like, man, I just don't want to practice anymore. I just want to play games. Practice became so monotonous. It was just like every day the same thing: 3-man weave, warm up, layup drill, do this, some soft shooting, and then I'm just like, man, listen, I don't need any of this anymore. Like, I just want to go play the games because y'all burned up all my energy. And like when I started to get to that point, I was like, all right, it's probably time for me to walk away. Because when I was getting into it, I loved that. Like, I used to wake up. My whole day was wrapped around practice. You remember how it was in high school and college? You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't wait to get to practice. Like, you're like, yo, where's practice? Like, I don't want to be in class anymore. I need to get to practice. So, and then after a while, so.
Nuts, bro.
That was it. Yeah.
Damn, what about, so let me ask you another question. From a business aspect, are they providing you the monetary salary plus health benefits and things of that nature?
What if you get injured?
Right. What if, once again, 60 games is a lot of games, right?
Yeah, you do a 3-man weave or some shit and twist your knee.
Exactly. Or is that money that they paying you, are you required to now pay for health insurance at a discounted rate, or is everything on you under what that salary encompasses?
So in Europe, it's free healthcare. So I mean, imagine this. So when you get sick in the States, you got to go see your primary healthcare first, like some random somebody who don't know nothing about nothing. I mean, they do take it back. They do know something. They're doctors. They went to school, so I'm not going to disrespect them like that. But my point being, like, if you have something with your knee, you got to go see a primary healthcare first, and then he's going to
get a referral.
Yeah, a referral to somebody who specializes in knees.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In Europe, you go straight to the knee doctor, like directly, straight to him. You don't have to go do that bypass other stuff, like, unless you don't know what's wrong with you, then maybe they'll do it that way. But I mean, it's more efficient over there, and like as I was saying earlier, it's free. It's part of the when you have your work permit, depending on the country and stuff like that. So all that is folded into it. So I mean, and then like I said, if we want to pivot off that, I mean, that's what I was saying about the difference between Europe and America. You have free healthcare, free education. I mean, the average European, they have their masters, they speak 3 to 4 languages. I mean, like, and then here in the States, they're telling us pretty much like you got to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that to be successful. But guess what? They don't tell you you're gonna be in debt $500,000 to be that. I mean, like you paying off debt until you in your 60s, and then by that time, you're on the way out. Like it's method. It's ass backwards how we justify education. I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm saying like we'll have more successful and positive people if we just get rid of that and like stop charging $80,000. I don't even know how college is right now. Like with everything being, digital now, where you don't have to be in class. How can you tell me I need to be in class and pay you $80,000 or $60,000, whatever the amount of money is? It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the D1 price is crazy, bro. If you ain't getting a scholarship, I don't see how it works or makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, now they passing out money like it's Tic Tacs. It's crazy.
Shit,
it's crazy.
I'm about to start balling like Gilly. Give me an NIL.
I know, right?
The funny thing is, we talked about, and again, this is a great interview because it's relevant, because he came in at a time where that's what the system was. You see how drastically times have changed within, let's just call it one generation, a generation and a half, the span of 10, 15 years of what kids are going through now and the opportunities afforded to them now versus then. So things are a little different,
But let's break that down. What are some of the differences, right? Like like you said, for the listeners, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like stuff like right now, like the transfer portal. So if he was to go to a D1 or D2 school, you're committed, right? You didn't have many opportunities outside that school. So whatever you picked was what it was, right? So say for instance, the coach woos you, he comes to the house, talk to mama loving them, he sold you the dream, you come on campus, and that shit ain't what it was or what you intended to be, your ass was stuck. And if you tried to transfer, you're trying to find a new coach, find a new system, do all that shit, and then you have to sit out of year, I believe.
You sit out, you sit out of year.
Eligibility,
eligibility. Only way you sit out of year is if you went, if I remember right, we went down a division. Like I went down from D1 to D2, I'd have to sit out. But if you go D1, you had to sit out of year. So that's like a whole nother concept that you're thinking about. Like, I mean, I knew dudes that would take like a redshirt year, take that year you sit out, and then take a gray shirt, which means they didn't have the grades.
Gray shirt.
Yeah. So talking about their freshman year, they're 21, 22 years old. I'm like, man, like you really trying to make it. And back then there was no money being passed around. Nowadays, kids are like, oh, I had a good year, I'm out. I'm gonna get this check over here, go hoop there, and then leave again, go get another check. Like they got to have some kind of like, they need to put something in place where kids should only be able to transfer. I'm not trying to hail the kids at all. I don't want you to go get your money and stuff like that. But it's just, I think it's affecting like the purity of the sport from the college perspective. Like you just, it's hard to watch because you don't even get a chance to really know these kids anymore. Like back when we grew up, I mean, like we knew AI because AI did 2 years at Georgetown. You know what I mean? Like, like we knew all these players. Mike didn't know 3 years. We knew all these players because they stay at their school long enough for us to build some kind of rapport and relationship with them. So
yeah, but I definitely agree with you, bro. But I want to piggyback. I think a lot of the kids, they're not focused on building their brand enough. Like a good example of somebody who did the transfer portal, who didn't do the transfer portal and stayed in that. Look what happened with Manning's nephew, the one that's on Texas right now, the quarterback.
Yeah, Archie.
Yeah, Archie. I'm like, I don't know if that was uncle son, Archie Manning, right? He's behind the Heisman run, like the frontlit runner for the Heisman Trophy. Could have led your fucking Peyton Eli's nephew. Could have went to any college in the world, but he's still making $4 or $5 million just off the NIL, right? So I don't have to even get the burn because my time is going to come. I did the red shirt year. When he leaves to go to the NFL, the keys are mine, and that's what it is, right? But everybody's betting on that same thing, and not everybody's going to be Archie. So for those, listening, man, if you got the talent and the brand, it doesn't matter where it is. You can get it from the local Toyota dealership. You can get it from the pizza shop y'all go to. There's a lot of opportunities, but are y'all willing to really fight for opportunities and build yourself out there?
But let me take it a step further and just talk education real quick.
What's good?
How about having people around you that can actually steer you down the right path? That is super important. The people that you have around you that you are listening to, that's in your ear, trying to help you guide your career, they are super important because they can help you with these decisions that can either make your career or break your career. You understand what I'm saying? So again, you're absolute. I'm agreeing with you 100%, but I'm just piggybacking saying it's also super important to have people that actually know what the fuck they are talking about. Right. And if you don't know what you're talking about, learn it or find somebody that you can trust that knows what they're talking about to help give you the best information so that you can make the best decision possible. Because I think a lot of kids don't have that. And that's why you heard what Larry said. You end up talking to your roommate. You end up talking to your homie, right? People that you play ball with, and you hear what they're doing and you try to mimic their situation.
Yep.
And therein lies a problem, right? Because if you're not them, right? Like you said, if you don't have the backing, you're not them, you end up not getting their results.
That's a
Right.
fact, though.
I mean, I think culturally we're in a situation where the blind's leading the blind. So, for instance, if you're an 18-year-old kid and you're being handed $5 million, but your parents or your people who are in your circle have never touched that kind of money, how are they teaching you how to manage money they've never seen or can even, even fathom in their mind? So now you go out and get somebody who's probably potentially someone not like in your tight inner circle. They call handlers now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and they're just pretty much building a roster of individuals they can eat off of who don't
Yeah.
really care about you. And that's
Yeah.
the hard part about it. If you fall and slip on a banana peel and tear your whole leg up, guess what? They're not going to, as soon as you got a surgery, that's probably the last time you're going to see them. And that's the hard part, with sports right now for the younger generation. Like, who do you trust? It's hard to trust your family. Yeah, who can you trust? I mean, like, as a parent, I can only imagine, like, I wiped your ass while you was a little baby, all this stuff like that. So I want my cut too. But you're like, wait, but it's just a hard dynamic, to be giving kids this kind of money at such a young age because they're not being given any kind of financial education, or financial literacy of how to manage that money and what to do with it. You're pretty much like, if you see a guy with a chain on, you're like, man, that's great, you got a chain, but that is not going to appreciate the value. Like, what are you doing with that? And don't get jacked, because now you get jacked and this is gone. So, like,
I got to play devil's advocate.
I see yours. That's icy.
I just got to play devil's advocate for that just a little bit, right? Right off the back, I agree with you 100%. We have this conversation all the time about the actual structure of college, period. The fact that you walk into college and right next to the registration table is the credit card table, where they're offering kids these platinum cards right off the back. And 99% of schools do not teach financial literacy in high school unless you go to like a business-based school. We talk about this all the time. So I'm with you 100%. We also talk about the fact that most kids, doesn't matter if you're a collegiate athlete or not, most people go to school and get a degree and end up not working in the field that you got the degree in. So now you're paying all this money back, right? Again, and you're not even in the fucking field that you actually studied for, like that. As far as like the parents, I'm me, and I'm gonna include Jarrett in this because Jarrett's my cousin and his youngest son is my godson, and I've watched Jarrett parent. He watches me parent on a regular basis. We need more parents like us and your father, because if you don't know, then educate yourself. It's not about getting your cut. It's about ensuring that your son is set up properly and nobody is robbing them. You understand what I'm saying? Absolutely. You're going to want to make sure that your family is situated. Obviously, they created you and provided you that opportunity. But instead of hiring a handler, if your parent was proficient enough in business or in finances, they could actually step into that spot, and you guys can now build a business where you work together or they work for you, whatever you want to call it. But it's a family business now, right? That's the generational wealth building of it becoming a business now, right? And instead of, you just trusting somebody else. I believe that with the brand or with the jury, I believe that a lot of that stuff now is gifted. Not to say that they don't buy it, but a lot of these young kids, because they're so good, the rappers befriend them and other guys befriend them. And a lot of that jury and stuff is given to them. Like it's gifted to them. You know what I mean? Not to say some people don't buy it, but I think that's how a lot of them are, getting their jury and stuff like that. So I don't want to just, it's not because I'm wearing a chain. I just don't want to put too much.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I don't want to put on that.
Yeah. I don't want to put too much.
You gotta remember.
Yeah.
But you got to remember though, like nothing in life is free. When someone
that's a fact.
gifts you something, they're expecting something back at some point. So whether it's not financial, or whatever case may be. So when you accept a gift of that kind of magnitude,
of course,
trust me, there's probably depending on who it is. Of course, every situation is different, but there's probably an opportunity or a situation where that person's going to need something back from you in some form or facet. Is it a favor? Is it something financial, transactional, whatever the case may be? So that's just something to think about for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of these kids end up playing in summer leagues, like in New York, right? We got the Rucker, you understand? Yep. We got Kingdom and stuff like that. So again, like that can lead to something like that. Like, I'm gonna look out for you, but come the summertime, come rock with my team at the Rucker, come play with me at Kingdom, or some of these tournaments that go on throughout the summer. That's how a lot of these, these kids make their money also, you know what I mean? Off the court, from the collegiate level, playing the sport in summer leagues. So
Yeah.
I want to see somebody do a LeVar Ball. What that man did was real. I want to execute on a larger level, bro. Obviously, he was the first one to do it. He got scrutinized and all that, but the way he executed his business, knew his product, the commodity was the children, got them together, and the way he marketed himself and that fucking family.
Yeah, I think he dropped. I think he let it get. I think he let it get to him as well. And I think even though he created what he thought he wanted to create, I think because he got in his own way, he kind of destroyed it at the same time. I think if he would have just sat back a little bit and just been a little bit more compromising, you understand what I'm saying, and really understood what it was and how things moved, he could have positioned himself a lot better. But I think he was just so like my way or the highway, and he ended up hitting a brick wall very quickly. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's the first.
But for LeVar, I mean, what LeVar did is massively successful. I mean, I respect the Ball brothers and the family 100%. But what Jello did at UCLA, I mean, like you're a grown man. You over here still in another country. That's on you. Because if he had not done that, there's an opportunity, there's a chance he has all three sons in the league. I mean, the G League is, in my personal opinion, that's part of the league. So he technically at one point had all three. He can't help that Lonzo and LaMelo get hurt. Like that's completely out of his. He has nothing to do with that. What he did, what he said he was going to do, he actually in some form did it. Like we need to praise him, as you mentioned, praise him more, because even if you ever hear his kids talk about their dad, there's a level of respect there. I mean, if you want to call it the Joe Jackson fear type thing, but they're not going on TV talking crazy about him.
Never, ever.
No, never.
They let everybody else can talk crazy, but they're never disrespecting their father, because I mean, they know that he was huge portion or reason as to why they even made it to the point they're at now. I mean, Melo signed a max deal. I think Lonzo signed at $80 million.
Crazy.
Melo and crazy. Yeah. I mean, like, what are we complaining? What are we actually talking about? Like, there's three successful kids. So I mean,
I'm just the reason I say that is because from urban America, there's such a need for success, right? When everyone, it's poverty, bro. We want success so bad. They say you can taste it, right? You want it. And sometimes I think that when you start to get the success, sometimes it gets in the way of good common sense. You understand? That's all I'm saying. Like, because like I said, you good, cause I'm a business major, right?
I try to hit you with one of these so fast.
What I say? You can taste success.
The way you said, you just.
I mean, that's the saying. You can taste success.
I know this is the way.
The tone. You like the tone?
I think I swiped that. I took myself off the stream.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as understanding what you truly want to do and then really dedicating yourself to doing that, right? So I don't know, his entire story. I know he wanted to do the BBB and the sneakers and stuff like that, right? I just think that, again, if he would have immersed himself more in understanding business itself and learning business itself and marketing and really immersed himself in it, not that he created something phenomenal, but I still think he missed it by like a long shot, right?
Long shot, right.
Right. He missed we can definitely give him his flowers, but now we get to also use him because he was the first to do it as a model to say, what did he do right? But more importantly, what did he do wrong? Right?
Because the ideas were great. It was the execution, bro.
Execution.
Yeah, I'm training my kids to be basketball superstars. I don't know how to fucking make a sneaker. I don't know what the distribution. I don't know what the production looks like. Yeah. I don't know how to get the materials.
But you can learn. But you can learn.
Yeah, you can. But I mean, it's a great transition. It's a great transition into kind of like my realm now in corporate space. I mean, a signature shoe is hard today. It's oversaturated. We're going to have probably over 30 signature athletes. I mean, when they start giving all respect, Austin Reeves getting shoes. You got dudes wearing Skechers now. Like, it's just every brand is coming out. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, New Balance got. I mean, when we were growing up, have you ever thought of Skechers would have signature footwear like basketball shoe? That's crazy. A slip on.
Right.
So I mean, like him and himself trying to create something for himself, I think is very admirable. But their best situation would have been to partner like he did with like LaMelo with like Puma or something like that.
Right.
Allow them to lose their infrastructure to grow something. I mean, because think about it. Jordan did it with Nike, where he has his own entity now. Kobe, rest in peace. He was one. I know that was going to happen at some point. Mamba was going to separate from Nike, not separate, but like be a subsidiary under them. They could have done the big baller brand, the Triple Bs under Puma. They could have done that. But again, you said, he just maybe didn't have the right people around him to educate him on the right way of doing it. He was so gung-ho, like, I've been doing it my way the whole time. I'm gonna keep doing it that way. And that, if you want to call it a failure, I wouldn't call it that. But if he hit a roadblock, it was probably that, because I think their price point was like $300. I'm like, come on, man. That's just a game. Right. And then I think Lonzo got hurt wearing them. I'm like, I'm definitely not wearing those. So
So and again, right? And then we talk about like mindset, right? We talk about mindset. Who's around him saying to him that he's allowing to talk to him to say, yo, listen, you want to come out with your own sneaker brand. This sneaker brand want to offer your kid a couple dollars. Why don't you take the deal, but put in a rider? I would like the intern. I would like to be an intern and learn how to make sneakers and learn the process of making a sneaker, marketing a sneaker, the materials, right? The dynamics of it, and learn it on their dime. Now you're not wasting any money, because now you can learn from their failures for free. See, that would have been the gem right there, right? Because what it costs you to make a mistake as an independent is everything. You make one mistake, your company can be, that's it, bankrupt. You're out of business. But a company like Puma or whoever that, was offering him at the time, because I know it was several deals on the table, you could have said, as part of the deal, hey, I'll give up some equity, whatever, let's work it out. But I would love to come in and be an intern and learn how to make the sneaker and learn how to do this and learn how to do that. And then eventually, like you said, I could either get a spinoff under your company, or now I can create my own. But now I understand the infrastructure. I have access to the resources, which is even more important. Where do you make the sneaker, right? Where's everything made at? What's the price point at it? Now you can have all of these things under your belt. So when you're ready to press go, you press go in a completely different atmosphere.
Yep.
That's what I was saying.
Absolutely. I mean, again, but you don't know what you don't know. So, I mean, trust me. I mean, like, even for myself now, like getting into the space of like working with a large brand, large corporation, like, I didn't know all the nuances that came to making the shoe, like the iteration process, how far in advance they started. Like, I'm thinking shoes just get dropped like this left and right. There's so much that goes into it. There's so many people have their hands on it. So many things that need to be signed off on. So many different rounds of, it's just so many intricacies. Like, I ask y'all a question. When's the last time you see somebody hoop before the LeBron 20s for the low tops? When's the last time you see somebody really hooping LeBrons? Like, that's not a shoe, people, but they sell out supposedly every year.
I don't see nobody wearing LeBrons, bro.
I don't see a lot of people. I see a lot of people hoop in LeBrons, right? Correct.
Right. Because they're super heavy. But I mean, the shoe that he wears on court is like literally built for his body. Like, it's like the technology and things in there is like literally molded to his foot. So it's like wearing a sock. It's perfect for him. Like, he feels, like, that's why back in the day, you hear about like people taking their shoes off at halftime. I'm like, man, when in my mind before working for a brand, I would like, there's no way I can wear a brand new shoe like during the game. I need to break it in and stuff like that. But these shoes are pretty much broken in already, because they're perfectly made for these athletes. That goes to football, that goes track, that goes pretty much any sport, soccer, all of them. They all have these shoes that are like built for them. So, I mean, understand those kind of nuances behind it in the business has been like key for me to understand, like, especially how I want to like manage my career going forward, like how much more I need to learn so I could be more successful.
That's real, bro.
That's the you get the screaming, baby. See, the key that we keep touching on is education. It doesn't have to be college, but educate yourself on what you want to do. Immerse yourself if you're given the opportunity to do it. Stop chasing the upfront bag. See, and again, it goes back to us just dying to be so successful that we're not playing the long game. We are playing the short game.
Mama Jordan.
Right. Exactly, right? You see? Right. That's the long game, right? She like the long game, right? So that was my point, right? You listen to what you said. You like, yo, I grabbed every door, and if I got it to jiggle, I just once I'm in, I'm in. See, that's the key right there. That's what I was saying about him. You should have just put yourself in position, got with a company. Yeah. Now you're in. with a billion-dollar company, and you can learn everything you need to learn. So when you're ready to go, not to say that you're still going to win, right? Because business is always a success rate, but your rate will be a tremendously higher because now you have the resources, the probably the support system. You understand? You have everything lined up. So now when you press go, it's almost like, how can I lose now? Think about this real quick.
We could pivot, but I definitely want to be like, it's like going to the label versus being independent, bro. He had an excellent product. Had he hit it, had he not had them early brand issues like the not being shipped on time, motherfuckers spending $400 and then they're complaining about the shoe not being built properly. Had he hit the mark on those, we would be having a totally different
conversation.
Right, but we're not talking.
Give it to him for shooting the shot.
No. I'm not saying that, but I'm just giving you an example, right? And I'm going to use Kanye as the best example of this, right?
All right.
If you listen to Kanye's story, he will tell you how many times he moved to Paris, stayed in Paris, interned at this company, interned at that company, learned from this person, learned from that person, learned, and then press go. You understand? That's all I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It's the mentality of how successful do you want to be? Do you just want to say, we talk about this all the time, Larry. Do you want to be the person that just sit up there and be like, I did this on my own? See, that's what I get from him. I did this on my own. Nobody helped me. You want to just kind of wear everything like you had no help and you did this on your own when that's impossible, right? You can never achieve anything on your own. Somebody spoke to you. Somebody gave you an opportunity. Somebody helped you. So when we drop that ego, I think that we can start processing information more clearly and just make better decisions. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely feel you on that. And bro, because I already, what made you want to get it? Because it's a big transition. We've had a few ballers here, bro. We've had N1 legends on the show, bro. We've had some crazy people, bro. Like how did you transition from bowling? When did you know it was over? And what made you go into this? Because marketing is a big term.
So I mean, it's crazy because like I always knew what I wanted to do. I just didn't know there's a name for it and how to do it. Like back in the day, you remember the box? Did y'all have the box in New York where essentially it was like this thing you call like a hotline?
I was
know it sounds crazy.
I know.
I know.
Ain't nothing left.
I know. Listen.
Not the box.
No, the box. I know it sounds crazy. I know. You're gonna have to Google it.
Make sure you
made that right. So essentially, you call this number and you can like do like these dedication music videos. Long story short, I used to watch music videos on this. My sister and I used to watch them, and I used to hear a song on the radio, and I used to be like, "Oh, how would I see this visually?"
Okay.
So that's like that started building that storytelling element within my heart where I was like, okay, like I have a product, I have a story. How do I want it to be conveyed to the consumer so they understand it? I just didn't know how to put it all together. So my last season in Germany professionally was 2017-18, I think. Yeah, 2017-18. I had a shout out to my boy Vedran Nakic. We were teammates in Romania. And he was living in the headquarters of Adidas in a small village called Herzogenaurach. It's like out in Bavaria, like near Nuremberg. It was like a 4-hour drive. He was like, yo, come visit me. You know, I ain't seen you in a while. So I came to the campus. And one thing that I think the brand could do better is to share their history and their storytelling aspects. Like, for instance, Nike's tagline, famous, just do it. What's Adidas? Do you guys know?
No, I don't know it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if they have a tagline.
So
do they have one?
No, yeah, they had, so the power to change life through sports.
Oh,
I've never heard that.
That's deep though. Like for us, like for me, if it wasn't for sports, I don't know. I mean, I would have gone to college because I know my parents would have made it happen somehow. But I wasn't invested in this college because if it wasn't for sports, I didn't know. I mean, it was kind of like a byproduct of it. You know what I mean? If I'm being truly honest. And then sports changed my life. I always tell people it's the greatest metaphor for life. I mean, you learn how to love, hate, you ups, downs, left, rights. If you play sports, especially team sports, you're likely a successful individual. And it's not an absolute science or anything like that. But I mean, you learn so many different nuances in your, throughout your sports career from a young age to an older age. But with that being said, I heard that and I was like, that really resonated with me. So I was like, I want to work for this brand. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to work for this brand. After I retired, I went home back to LA or to Long Beach for like, I don't know, a couple of weeks, I started like looking for jobs, stuff like that. Nothing was really hitting. I was hitting up on my little quote unquote networks and like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Can you help me? People were like, go volunteer. I'm like, I'm not saying I was too good for it, but I was like, man, I ain't trying to do all that. Da, da, da. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up. I feel like I grew up. I became a man in Europe. So what I did, same thing I did back in the day with basketball, I doubled down again. I bet on myself. I packed up everything I had. I moved to the village in Germany. No job, no nothing, no prospects, nothing. I went there. I started training.
You
I
just
started
went
training.
at him. Just
I started training. I started training kids, and like basketball and stuff like that. Some of the kids end up being kids from the senior leadership at Adidas. So now when they would pick their kid up, I would just share my story and share my passion and what I want to do. Da, da, da. I ended up getting on with like an agency out there. Shout out to Act 3, my first official job, I guess you would call it. I was in a warehouse packing boxes with like high school kids. I mean, I was grinding. One day, an opportunity popped up. That door cracked a little bit. They were like, "Hey, Adidas needs like a comms manager. Need somebody to help manage their marketing for." It was called the training team. So like it was, how can I say, like we have this. Every sport, every company, sports brand has like different BUs, business units. So you have basketball, you have swimming, you have track. This BU was training. So I went there. I was supposed to be there 1 day a week. I went from 1 day a week to 2 days a week, 2 days a week to 3 days a week. Next thing you know, I'm there every day and I'm only there. So as I keep saying, create, don't wait. You got, I knew that if I stayed in Long Beach, I don't know if I ever would have got to this position I'm in. Fast forward a couple months or something like that, I ran into, or I shouldn't say I ran. Yeah, I definitely say I ran into him. Shout out to Koofy Brown, my former boss. He kind of saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and he stayed in touch and kind of kept his eye on me. And then when in 2021, Adidas basketball, the whole BU was moving to LA. I said, "There's no way y'all going to LA without me. It's not happening." So I just started hitting up everybody. I'm talking about long emails. I'm just throwing, again, take a chance. I'm pretty much showing that I have so much confidence in myself that you can trust me to do the job. And God bless me with an opportunity to come back home and do basketball. It was it was amazing. I mean, honestly, like I remember my mom, I surprised her. She was happy, crying stuff, because she didn't know when I was coming back home. She's like, I left in 2001. It's 2021. She's like, finally you home. Like, so it was amazing, honestly, man. Like I'll be honest with you. You don't know what you don't know. And then, we talked about it a little bit offline. I mean, working for a brand like this, there's a lot of nuances that come with it. It's not always easy, especially for people who look like us, because you have the people who don't look like us telling us how people who look like us act, and how it's kind of crazy at times. Even you guys mentioned it, like to have someone like I'm not trying to like say that just because I hooped I know more about basketball than everybody else, because you guys know there's guys who hooped who can't coach, and there's guys who didn't hoop who can coach. So it's kind of the same concept, but at the same time, it's hard when I'm in a meeting and I'm being told, or trying to be convinced that you got to do it this way versus that way. When I think about marketing and all the campaigns that I do build or help build, I think about the younger version of myself. Would I rock with that? I got two little nephews. Shout out to my nephews. Like if they don't like it, then it's not gonna hit. Like I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, like even to the point where we talk about. I know we're kind of like spinning through it a little bit now. Like Dre, I met Dre on my very first campaign in Germany. We were in this. You know what a velodrome is?
Nah.
A velodrome where they do the cycling, like this, they just keep going around in circles, like like Olympic sport. Yeah. So I walk into this velodrome. I'm nervous. I don't know what's going on, and I'm not even joking. I think it was like Jodeci playing, and I'm like, yo, who the hell is playing Jodeci up here? I'm like, this is crazy. I don't see none but Germans, and I all of a sudden I look over to my right. You know how Dre energy is. He got big energy.
Right.
His hair was all. I was like, and I saw him. Like I walked up to him. You know how you see a brothers, especially when you're abroad, overseas. You see a brother, you go always big up, like, yo, what's up? You make sure you acknowledge him. So he saw me. I saw him. I did like this, and we started getting close. And I'm like, yo, what's up, man? He's like, yo, where you from? He's like, oh, from the Bay. I said, oh, wait a second. It was just it clicked like that. But I did tell him after that moment, I said, me and you gonna work again together. We're gonna work together somehow, some way. So when I moved to LA, I made it my mission to work with him. Like and unfortunately, it did not come easy. I think it was really important for me to hire an agency that was led by somebody like us. Not just that, but someone who comes from the culture, who understood basketball, and just immersed. He's so connected and all those things.
Facts.
I don't know if you guys know how the agency side works for these big corporations, but sometimes they do this thing called a triple bid, where essentially you brief 3 different agencies and they come back to you with their pitch, and then you pick the best one. Mind you, we never did this before. As soon as I said I wanted to work with Dre, all of a sudden the powers that be were like, "We got triple bid." I was like, "That's weird. Like, why y'all triple bid now? Like why we got triple bid now? Like,
right.
Why can't I just have this dude?" I was getting all these corporate answers and stuff like that, and that's when I kind of started understanding it a bit more. Where it's like, oh, y'all don't really want us in the room like that.
No,
y'all don't. I mean, it's an unfortunate thing that how it is. I'm not saying that for all brands. I'm saying it just based off what I know and what I've experienced for myself. But there is a level of how can I say it? It's not jealousy is not it, but we could be posed as threats when we get too powerful mentally and we understand we're so self-aware and stuff like that. I'm definitely not perfect by any means, and I know I definitely hold some petty in me, and I do hold grudges. Something I'm personally working on for myself to be better in that space, definitely in the workplace. But I think that there's a level working for these big brands that, and as I mentioned to you guys before, like I get hit up on LinkedIn a lot, like, oh, what can I do to work for a brand like Adidas and stuff like that? And I always try to tell these younger people, like getting out of college, build something for yourself, not like the big baller brand, but like go educate yourself, get yourself, versed on the things that you need to do to be the best version you can. Because guess what's going to happen? You're going to come to the job, and nepotism is so real. Like you'll be so qualified for a job, and you won't even know the job got posted. They just literally hand it over to the next person. And, and what you should always be looking for is like this, I say this 16 to 18 month growth window. Within that 16, 18 month window, you should start looking for the next level up and for more money. And if the current job's not providing that for you, you may have to shift. And because guess what? If you stay in that job and you're like, oh, Larry's not asking for more money, he's not asking for nothing, like they're gonna treat you the same way. They're gonna let you just stay in that space. Yeah, why would they give you more money if you're not asking for it? So it's important that we never stop growing, start evolving, learning, and making ourselves better. I mean, there's so many platforms like you guys platform all to learn and grow as an individual. So I mean, it's been a ride for sure. And I'm super excited for the future and like what's going to come next. But it's definitely hasn't been an easy one. I mean, I think I have a different feeling and vibe for the brand that I wear on my chest because of the messaging that I thought it stood for. You know what I mean? Like it's one, like they say this, but then do this. So it's been hard to navigate that space. I mean, you see what we were doing with like Anthony Edwards and stuff like that. I always tell people, like, shout out to my boy Miles who killed that campaign. But the thing that a lot of people within the brand don't understand is like you couldn't anticipate him to play the way he played. I don't care who he was. We knew he's good, but like his signature shoe, first one, and him getting the team to the Western Conference Finals, it's like perfect. But for a real hooper like myself, like us, athlete, I don't know if you guys saw that the spot they dropped called receipts. So essentially, pretty much like he was like saying he was keeping all the receipts of everybody that said something about him and stuff like that. They dropped that the day after he lost. For me, I'm thinking to myself, like, and I told my bosses, I said, yo, there's no way we should drop that the day after they lose, because what that tells me is y'all plan for him to lose.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
Like, but again, but there's talk, but again, because the industry is oversaturated and everyone's dropping the spot, everyone doing everything on social, it kind of that concept got lost in the sauce, and you didn't see that. Maybe you saw it, but you didn't pay attention to that piece of the puzzle, that detail. Because I mean, if I, again, like if I was a troll, I'd have been like, yo, did y'all already have this in the can? Wait, because remember, a campaign takes weeks to film and
sometimes months.
Right. So to tell me y'all already had that in the chamber waiting to go, like that's crazy. Like, y'all been talking about how dope he is all season long, but then as soon as I'm telling you, he lost on a Thursday, they had it out on a Friday. But again, it's because the powers that be, the people who are, making all the decisions, they have no attachment to culture. You can't tell me that, you can, if I'm being brutally honest right now, super transparent. They're not going to watch, like the low level AAU games where the kids are super hungry and grinding. They're going to watch the big time players who already got money in their pockets like that. That's not who we sell shoes to. They're not buying those kids don't buy shoes anymore. They stopped buying shoes when they were 10. You know what I mean? So we're not even talking or trying to go see who our consumer is and be around them and understand what they actually need. So that's always been a disconnect for me personally, and always trying to do more for my community and my environment to uplift and provide for those who don't have. Because again, some of these kids only get one pair. You know how it is back in the day. You got before school start, you got your one pair of shoes for a year. Make it count.
Yeah.
So,
but also, if you tapped into the culture, certain sneakers are just for ball. Certain shoes are dual purpose. Some shorts I could rock out on the court and throw some jeans after I finish and go up the block real quick, do what I gotta do. Absolutely. And some drinks are strictly party. I can't fuck these up. My Air Jordan 3s, my 6s, 11s, whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? But gotta know
that's the culture, cause you just tapped into it. He said it. It's understanding the culture.
Gotta know
the sneaker culture has transcended sports decades ago. Just think about technically what Jordans are. Like, most people will never ball in their Jordans. Never.
Absolutely not.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, are you balling these? You're out of your mind, right? You understand what I'm saying, right? Crazy. But he's regarded as, the number one basketball player, of all time. So that just goes to show you, right? Again, I say this all the time, Larry, and I understand, right? Because you have to get into a position where you can affect the change. You can't beat the system from outside the system. You can't beat the system from outside the system. So unfortunately, you have to kind of play the game until you get into a position where you can be a forward thinker and say, listen, that's not what's going on. You guys are operating 40 years ago. Let me speed you up to what's going on now, because you have to still develop this brand. So yeah, Adidas is dope and any of these brands, but if they don't constantly develop as fast as society's developing, any one of these brands can end up being bankrupt very quickly, because you're not keeping up with what society. If we're not buying it, we don't care who's in charge, who's making it, what it's made out of. If we don't want it and we ain't buying it, you're gonna cater to us or you're gonna go out of business. See, that's the buying power. That's the power of the culture. You understand what I'm saying? They're not tapped into that.
Just to give you real quick, just to tap into, bro, because we didn't ever told you this. We actually have an agency, bro. We actually own our own agency, Outside the Box Digital. So everything you're talking about. So imagine you on the inside. Imagine how we feel as Black agency owners trying to execute and get those RFPs. I'll sit up here for 5-6 hours, execute a request for proposal. You guys want to do X, Y, Z? It could be the best written thing ever. The most fire shit with the ideas from head to head, culture. And what they're going to look at us just as a multicultural agency. Yeah. They're not going to look at it as like a WPP or whatever it is, one of the global holding companies. It's so much politics into this shit, bro. That's why crazy. That's why I left corporate. I was in the same boat. Left corporate. And I'm in sales. I'm in sales. You know what? Sales is the one fucking one position in corporate where it's binary. It's just my number is my number. If I hit that motherfucker, you leave me alone. If I exceed that number, you fucking celebrate me. If I don't, then you're going to put me on a performance or a PIP. Right? A performance plan. Absolutely. And then you're going to get me out of there. You feel me? Versus some of these other roles that don't even have a metric tied to their job. You don't even know how they're impacting business. Yeah. And they'll still screw you over, bro.
Absolutely. I mean, but to both of your points is like, do you compromise your moral integrity to be in the room? You know what I mean? That's the hard part. Like, you know.
It depends what your goal is, though, bro.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm saying the goal should always be to impact change. Have a voice, like as you mentioned, like to be able to be somewhere where you're able to shift, let's say move the needle. You know what I mean? But I tell you these, and as you know, come from the agency side, like they'll tell you up and down, or even the funniest thing is when you get an agency and they bring in the token.
Come on, you know it. Come on.
And the crazy thing about it is, I mean, like I'm buddies who was an agency that we worked with, and I remember when like the job came, we said we need somebody that knows basketball a little bit. They hired him, And then after that was over, they let him go. I mean, he was on, contract. So it's not like they just fired him out of being dirty. At the same time, he was just a hired hitman, because he could talk the lingo and stuff like that, which, we can get really deep into it. I mean, we might be here all night, but we bring
token, nigga. I was a Metro card. I was the gun.
Message.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but I have a good friend. Shout out to Nick Green. I'm doing a lot of name drops today, but he always says something to me right now. He was like don't compromise yourself long term for something short term.
Facts. Shit, that's a real bar.
Message.
You know what I mean? And that's the nuance, because at the end of the day, money is important, but at the end of the day, it's not. If you going home and you stressed out, you got people talking to you crazy. You got people. I want to do a challenge in the office. I just want to dribble basketball. Almost like on the program. Remember we used to carry the football in the movie, The Program? I want to bring a basketball. I'm just going to give you a mean chest pass. You can't catch it. You got to go home.
Right. When you seen the disconnect between what the corporate office was doing, as far as now, like you said, they're not going out to the AAU games, they're not scouting at the level, they're not paying attention to who the real consumer base is. Now that's a disconnect. You being in position now, even if they're not doing it, what do you do now? Do you approach them and say, hey, listen, you're going about this all wrong. Can I create a pilot program, or can I create something where I go out and give me a little bit of time just to kind of show you the difference? You understand what I'm saying? Let me go out there, let me do this, let me do that, and then bring the numbers back to you, bring the stats and stuff back to you. What do you do in a situation like that? Do you step in and say, give me the shot at it, or do you just kind of let them do what they do and just I gave my input and now, all right, y'all do what y'all want?
The tough part, corporate, is that you have a job title,
right, and
stay exactly in that lane. If you
in your swim lane,
if you blend or do anything else, now you're seen as even more. I mean, again, like I said, honestly, I work with some people who just don't have it all together, and they have some messy text messages. Like, I'm not deleting that. You know that, right? I'm just going to keep that in the chamber forever. Like, it's just crazy. But essentially being accused of trying to do more or do something that's not your job title is always comes down to, like, I've literally been told, like, with some of the athletes we work with, I'm not allowed to be their friend. I ain't trying to be their friend. If me and another dude get along and we have like some level of rapport, then it is what it is. But you have a function for each, situation in the business. And so to your point, it's unfortunate that I'm not able to do that kind of stuff. It's just not in my R&R as my role's responsibility. So I need to just essentially sit back and watch. Like, when they sign athletes, I'm sometimes like, who made the decision to sign him?
Come on.
Message.
I mean, like, I'm being overseas for so long, I'm very connected with some European people who some shakers and movers in that basketball space. I've been big up in promoting, like, yo, we need to get the European game. If you have not seen it, obviously in the last 15 years, they coming for us. Like, we need to start focusing and doubling down on that part of the world. I'll give you a great example. We're a German brand, or Adidas is the German brand. What jerseys did they wear in the Olympics? Are they wearing Adidas?
No.
They're wearing Peak, a Chinese brand. I guess it's just crazy. Like, how can we speak to the world that we're a basketball brand or a basketball entity, and our own national team don't wear us? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't, it don't, you know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. I mean, I know there's contractual stuff. So, I mean, it's not like they might be going for them now. I don't know. But I mean, it's just a situation where it don't make sense sometimes. I'll just be looking around like, I don't know what the actual or overarching goal is. They want to win so bad in North America, which I kind of understand. America has, it does impact a lot of the culture changes and stuff like that around the world. But I one thing that I do push, or I had been pushing a lot, was, hey, we should just go to Europe, take over the whole country, and it will get us market share. That's how I thought. But I mean, it doesn't. I mean, again, it doesn't. Again, you can't educate people who don't get it or who don't want to get it. It's like, it's just one of those things. Like, and then remember, because you got brand guidelines, you got to follow. You got, again, working for a company like that, you got to line everything. Got to line up to what the big man up top says. If you don't say it, then you got to. I mean, you have all these amazing ideas, and they just fall, on deaf ears because it doesn't align with what the brand is trying to do. So again, if you have the ability to work for an agency and you're able to kind of like live in that gray space and do some dope activations and stuff like that, and kind of like be nimble with the multiple corporations and stuff like that and brands, that's the best way to do it, I think. If I'm being honest,
like, I'm not consider startup brands either, because that, bro, you are me, I am you, right? That's why it's named more than a title. Why the fuck would you want me to just stay in sales when I got 5 million impressions on LinkedIn? I actually got more impressions than the brand. So if that's the case, if that's the case,
you
why are we not leveraging each other in a way that's beneficial for both of our brands, right? If I see something wrong, right? If I see our funnel, why does it take 5-10 steps for you to get to me as the salesperson?
Right.
You should be able to get to me directly, especially if I have a brand and they're already communicating with me. So these are the things that I would talk about as a brand, bro. So that's the reason why I didn't go to a Google, bro. I put up a post before I went to my last job. I put up a post to put my face on Steph Curry body, Photoshop. Fucking put stats up like I was a balling, like, yo, he averages 30-something under sales, 4 assists, all this other shit. Just to say he's ready to win a championship on the right roster. I got hit up by Google, LinkedIn, Amazon, all these brands, bro. I came in on these conversations with, yo, can I be me? Can I have multiple swim lanes? Because guess what? I'm going to hit your sales number. But when I hit the sales number, I'm going to get bored. I need to challenge myself. I need to be able to learn other things. And why is PR doing that? Why are we creating this content? Who's creating the content? What are the objectives, right? So I can know how you're getting the customer that I'm going to ultimately talk to.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
I had to let you finish, but putting your head on somebody else's body is nasty.
He said putting the head on the body. When I said that?
You said you put on Steph Curry's body.
I said put my head on Steph Curry's body. On a photo.
That was in
the context of the photo. All right. I thought I was a nigga.
I let you part it, so I had to let you keep going, but that just sounded crazy. I put my head on Steph Curry's body. The optics is crazy.
Hey, he reached a little bit, but he reached a little bit. But the energy's still there. I can hear it. But
the whole thing is, I think we are all trying to figure out collectively, right? Not only how to succeed personally, but how to move effectively and efficiently once we get to a certain position where we can enact change, right? I think this is the ongoing debate that a lot of the people that we've had on the show, you're going to get multiple answers because obviously it's not black and white. It is a gray area. I think that the commonality, though, is we have to try something, because if we all get to these areas, the handful of us that can get there, and we accept the fact that now I'm good, my paycheck good, my numbers is good, right? I'm good, then change never happens, right? It's always going to just be a sprinkle, and then the system just constantly repeats, and we can see that it's not benefiting us in any way, shape, form, or fashion, right? So I think that when we talk about like, what do you do in those type of situations? Like Cuzzo said, I guess it's situational, right? But sometimes I feel we got to jump out the window. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I jump out the window. I cannot look myself in the mirror if I'm in a room, and I don't care where I'm at, and watch people disrespect my culture or disrespect my team. And I'm telling you, me personally, like Cuzzo said, he was in corporate. I've walked away from jobs. I'm 100, 200, 300. I walked away and not only walk away, but let you have it before I get out the door. Because what you will not do is disrespect my culture. What you will not do is make it seem like we're not doing what we're supposed to do because you're incompetent or you're unable to understand what the bigger picture is, right? And even though you might replace me, you can't never replace me. So we need to understand that also, right? Where everybody has this mentality that we're replaceable. No, you're irreplaceable, because there's only one Jarrett, there's only one Larry, there's only one Chadeo, right? What we bring uniquely to a situation, nobody else can bring, because you're not me. You can put somebody else in the role, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have the same type of success, right? Even if you teach somebody how to cook something, if you cook it a certain way, the way you do it, it's not going to taste the same. Right. So that's the debate that we've been going through with a lot of professionals. Talk to me,
to piggyback, bro. It's the game, though, bro. It's what did Dr. Horn say? What Teresa say? It's
the big boss.
The big boss, bro. So the black people like Dre, Walt, right? They could go they could be in the room so confidently around white colleagues, right, who are CEOs, who are the superiors, or they're working on the same team, on the same board together, right? And they could be their authentic selves. But what did you have to go through to actually get to that point and get to that level, bro? And that's the game that we're not taught, right? So when I say you are me, Larry, like I'm the same way, bro. So like I agree with Cuzzo. Sometimes you might have to jump out the window and say, I have an expertise that you do not have. And I need to see boom, boom, boom. You may get some backlash behind it, but guess what? At least you know you put your best foot forward. But you're the type of motherfucker that bet on yourself anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Because
the whole story.
But look at it this way. What we don't pay attention to a lot of time is what is the opportunity. You see? What is the opportunity? A lot of times when we're at work and we're working for these companies, we're looking at the opportunity only as in the company itself and not in ourselves solving a problem and creating something that's going to be, there we go, right? So that's why I asked you, like, did you go out on your own? Because now you have unique knowledge of how Adidas operate. You work there. Again, you can learn all their mistakes for free. You see? You can learn all their things. You can learn all the techniques for free. Now, if you know that they're missing something, you know there's an entire gap that they are just completely missing. Now I say to you, like, you got the information now. You got the resources now. You have the connections now. What do you do with that now?
Absolutely. I'm dangerous. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
there you go.
You can come to OTP. We can put together a package and we can fuck around and kill them.
But you understand what I'm saying, Larry? Like,
absolutely.
I think as a culture, a lot of us miss that door, that opening, because we're not even looking for it as an opportunity, right? So perfect example, right? If Cuzzo doesn't quit his job, if I don't quit my job, then we never create this
platform, right?
And I can tell you this right now, from what we create, when we created this a year and a half ago, for what we did when we created it to where we are now is completely different, right?
Yeah.
Where we're going to be next year is going to be completely different. And we have something that nobody else has. This podcast, the way we do it, nobody else does it the way we're doing it. But look, we had to take that chance and say, guess what? We're moving to Germany. We're moving to whatever. We not working no more. We betting it all on ourselves. There is no plan B. So when you say things like that, it resonates with us 100% because we did that. We like, there is no plan B. This is all or nothing now, because we see a gap and we're like, we know we can fill that gap. No, it's not going to be easy, but what is the reward for it? Now we have a platform where we can do what we want, say what we want. We don't have to ask permission. We can meet up with people like yourself and other people and implement things immediately. Immediately, we can say, hey, Larry, you got something that you need to fix. We got, not only do we offer services to fix it, we got the connections of other people that offer services to fix it. How do we fix it within the next 2 weeks and implement it immediately? Like Jarrett said, you don't have to run around and go through all of these steps to get right to the point. You see the difference now?
Absolutely.
So now you put yourself in alignment to align with other people's to enact change in real time.
Yep. Yeah, that's deep. Nah, it's deep. I mean, again, that's just
that's real.
Being mindful to, what are we willing to sacrifice to make those things happen?
Right.
I mean, like, is it something internal, something financial? Those are things that we have to, that I think that's I'm being honest, the tough part to navigate as we, go through these waters, navigate these waters. Like, what do we want, not only to show outwardly, but like what we're looking for ourselves as well. Like, we got to make sure that those things align, because like I said, going home stressed out because your line manager is talking crazy to you on text, telling you want this, you want this. Yeah, I mean, like, that's not the way to do it. And only because those people are higher up, they feel they're empowered to talk to you a certain way. Because at the end of the day, I know I always tell people this, and this as adults, we old now. We ain't nobody fighting no more. But
I'm still
fighting. No, hear me out. But there is a line, and if you habitually step on that line, something could happen. Yeah, right. But you know what I'm saying? But like, like it's just an interesting concept, I mean, like, even to the point, like, think of these big brands like high school, man. People be talking about your back, there's so much, and again, to talk about your back, see you in your face and big up, hug you. Like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, me either.
So like, yeah. So for me personally, if I don't care about it, like care for you, or I have a problem with you, you will see it all over my face. And that is like, but again, in these kind of spaces, You can't act that way. We have to be better because they're expecting for us to be that type of individual. And only me being that way hurts the next person behind me that looks like me trying to get that job. Kind of similar background. We don't want to mess with another guy like that because Larry was like that. So again, it's a really hard thing at times, pause, to like figure out like, when can I be my authentic self? Because if I'm my authentic self, as soon as you said something sideways, I'm cutting you off. We have to have let's not fight, like I said, but we're gonna have a serious conversation versus you being my boss and being like, okay. I mean, like, I can only say okay so many times before I break. And then you got now you got an instance or a situation that could have been solved a long time ago.
But when does it change though, Larry? When
That's
does
what
it
I'm
change?
I know. Again,
So
it changes.
see, slippery slope, right? I'm with you. Double-edged sword.
Yep.
I'm with you. But once again, the normalcy of how life works is you start out as a child with zero responsibilities because you have some type of parent or parents raising you. Zero responsibilities. As you start to become a young adult, and then eventually a parent, you might be on your own, rent, car, you start getting responsibilities. What these responsibilities now is they restrict your decision making because now you're second guessing, third guessing, fourth guessing. I can't make this move because now I got mouths to feed. I got to pay this rent. I got to pay this light bill. You see what I'm saying? So now technically the higher up on the ladder that you get or the more success you get, the more you're going to kind of not want to jump out the window because you're like, not a lot of us here. You see what I'm saying? It almost puts you in an impossible position where it's like, you're good. How long do you want to be good? Are you supporting your family? How many people are you supporting? Are you ever going to be the person to make this change? Or now, do we have to wait for somebody else that's eventually going to get the opportunity to come behind you and do it?
Yeah.
See?
No,
it's all about the goal, though, bro. Like at this stage in life, bro, I know for me personally, bro, I could have stayed in corporate, bro, could have stayed in corporate. I have to do work that's fulfilling to me. Like I couldn't do shit that was just half-assed. Why am I selling somebody else's product I don't believe in? All that other shit, bro. And then dealing with all that shit on top of it. That's half the game. The sales is the easy part. Building relations is what we do.
Yeah.
It's the other shit I can't do. The bullshit by the water cooler. The this and the that. Who I go to lunch with, right? They look at all that. Who you go to lunch with. Like all of that shit matters. Who you
Yeah.
All of that shit matters. And sometimes it's exhausting. It's mentally draining, bro. By the time that it affects my work, and once it starts to affect my work, why am I even there? If you want me to just be the token dude to come in there, say a couple cool lines, and be like, yo, he's really cool, contribute a small piece or fraction to the work, and then say, hey, we all slap each other, hey, high fives and shit, and go get beers. Like, I don't want to do that. That shit is trash. That shit is trash. I want to be
you know what that's called, Cause that's called peace of mind. When does peace of mind take priority?
It should take priority from day one. Day one.
Day one. That's what we
it should be from day one. But again,
it
should. But again, this brand that's on my chest holds weight. I know I can get into not a part. Like if I mention to somebody, everybody knows the brand. So it's opened a lot of doors for me in the networking space as we talked about earlier. So it's like, and again, I blame myself for a level of compromise that I did to be a part of something that really isn't a part of us. They'd say it, but they don't actually do it. You know what I mean? If there's anything socially going on, probably the last brand to say something, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. In it.
Message.
When George Floyd was murdered, I'm in Germany, and I had never, we all, we have these big team calls and stuff like that. And I never call my name out. Of course, Larry, how are you feeling? I was like, I wasn't on the camera. I wasn't on. Of course, I was probably laid in bed. Probably, don't talk to me. I'm low on the totem pole. I was like, excuse me, what? Did you say my name? He's like, yeah. We just want to know how you feel. I'm like, and then almost to be in a situation where I was speaking for all of us, all over the world. It was crazy. I mean, it was one of those things. Like literally, and the writings were on the wall. I just didn't see. I was so caught up in, I work for Adidas, and so that piece of mind. It starts with the individual. The more confident you are in who you are and the way you present yourself, the better off you'll be. Because I'm not making excuses for myself, but because I was entering this corporate space kind of like later in life and kind of like this rookie, I was kind of like, I'll do anything to be here type thing. And I'll just kind of keep quiet. Then it got to a point where when I finally was built up the courage and like desire, and I got to a point where my peace of mind was more, important than anything else. I won't say it was too late, but it was just a situation where it was definitely, bumping heads because people were like, "Oh, you got something to say?" I'm like, "Yeah, but we don't really want to hear it." You know what I mean? And that was something that's, even to this day, still kind of like I wear it on my sleeve a bit. I'd be like, all right, like I know my name's in certain people's mouth. I'm just like, you guys pause. I don't have to talk about me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna talk about y'all. I don't need to talk about me. Let's just keep it moving, and we'll all figure it out on our own time. You know what I mean? But
that's right.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely was gonna hit you with a pause button, but it was too quick.
No, but see, I want us. I feel like sometimes we don't understand who we are as a people. We don't understand who we are as a people. Any person that practices anything eventually gets better and better and better and better. You know what happens when you get better and better and better? Your confidence level increases in anything that you do, okay? As you start to climb this ladder, you get better and better and better. And already, first of all, you're a tall individual, right? You're 6'2", like you said, you might be 200. Technically, you could be intimidating looking already. You understand what I'm saying? Already, right? And then you walk with a certain confidence, with a certain swag. The higher up you get and the better that you do, technically you become a bigger threat now. Because now they're like, yo, this dude knows his shit. He walks like he knows his shit. He talks like you're not bowing down. See, when you walked in entry level, there's a lot of things that you might have accepted, okay, and let dirt off the shoulder. As you start to get them accolades and you start to now get that experience, you're not talking to me like that. You're going to express things differently, not disrespectfully, but from an experience, respect what I've done. So you end up being a threat technically anyway. Like that's what ends up happening anyway. Jarrett is going to tell you the story about him working at an agency, starting something, and because he started to make more money and people started calling into the agency asking for him directly. Now, he's not getting the big piece of the pie. He's still only getting his commission. But because his boss felt like they're noticing Jarrett more than they're noticing him, why does it matter? That's what you hired him to do it. You see what I'm saying? Do you really want me to be the best at my job or don't you want me to fucking be?
Absolutely.
Bottom line is it's the programming of society. We're taught to work hard, work hard, work hard. You'll be all right. That's bullshit. You're going to work hard. You're going to work hard. You're going to become a fucking threat. And the moment that they get a chance to get rid of you, they're going to get rid of you. Not because you're an underperformer, not because you're not hitting your number, but because they're like, we can only allow you to grow, but so much, because now they're fearful of you. Am I lying, Jarrett?
No, you're right. But playing the game at that level, especially with the corporate, bro, is how do I become a threat that makes everybody also look good as well?
Yeah.
And that's the game.
Yeah, because we're supposed to elevate and bring people with us. We shouldn't be trying to do this by ourselves.
That's the game.
I mean, again, going back to what I said earlier in the pod, like sports is a great metaphor for life. I'm surrounded by dudes that play tennis and golf. They didn't play no team sports. They're not trying to bring the whole team with them. And then, even to the point, like I always, people that know me know I'm not a big fan of like praise. Like you don't gotta praise me for doing my job. As long as my paychecks that tells me I'm doing my job. I'm good. I don't need you to walk me up on the stage and say, "Oh, Larry did a good job," on this campaign. I don't need none of that. Like, and the culture in corporations like this, that's kind of like how that is. It's very weird and odd dynamic. It's one of those things. It's almost like we all not hugged and kissed as kids. Like, what's going on? Like, why y'all acting like this? Like, and it's something that, like I said, like we both said, what we continue to say, like, how important is our peace of mind? Like, when we make a decision to prioritize ourselves over and our mental or our physical well-being over the check, and when we get to that point, that's when we become that threat, that powerful, that individual that we can pretty much do anything, because we're not going to succumb to any kind of disrespect of any kind for $1. I mean, again, it is hard because in that corporate space, we have to kind of act a certain way. We can't just be that raw, real, and authentic version of ourselves. We have to have a switch. We got to be able to turn it off sometimes. And it just depends on what do you turn it off to? What do you turn it on to? Like, obviously, if someone calls out your name, you should check that 100%. But, you might get some smug emails like, excuse me, like where you have to read it over and over again. Like, wait, did he really, or she, did they really say that? Like, and you got to figure out how to, reply, because again, it's just words. You already know what's going on with that person. You don't know how or what the context they mean. You're just assuming based off the energy from the email. So I mean, it's a tough place, it's tough wires to navigate. But if anybody can do it, we can, and we just have to be better. Because they expect us to be like this.
The other version.
They expect that of us. So to not be that version, that's kind of like how we can win, because that allows us to kind of like elevate in these companies. I mean, if they give you opportunity,
Not to cut you off too, bro, but have you, because you came in straight from being a professional ball player, did you have any black mentors? Anybody in corporate that was like, yo, young little bro, or my dude, holla at me, you know what I mean? This is what you do. This is how you move through. Like for me, and the reason why I asked that, bro, I didn't get any until late in my career.
Yeah.
By the time I got it, it was like I'm ready to bet on myself now, bro. Like I done did that. I feel like anywhere I go is gonna be the same shit. No matter small company, big company, SMB, no matter what it is, it's gonna be an asshole at the top and something that's gonna stifle me, and I'm gonna get pissed off and want to leave. And my performance is impeccable. So, like, who was the mentors for you, bro?
Initially, when I started in Germany, there was just not a lot of individuals that look like us. There's 6,000 employees on that campus, and I'm really rough estimate. There might be 150 people like they look like us on the campus, and most of them were not in my comms like role. I didn't have anybody that looked like me above me. The person I mentioned him earlier, Koofy Brown, shout out to Koof, the one that brought me back to LA. Essentially, they kind of like positioning myself for him to be my mentor when I came back. Unfortunately, he left the brand kind of a little prematurely, so I kind of like, and then the person that took over him is almost like college all over again. He didn't pick me, and that energy hit right away, and then start dealing with nepotism and everything. I mean, essentially, a job that I think this for anything. There's nothing I cannot do. If you put me in a position to, that's how we grow as individuals. It's by stress. So if you tell, hey, Larry, I want to see if you can do this. Give me a shot to do it before you tell me I can't do it.
Facts.
And that's kind of where the descent started happening within the brand, where they just literally handed a job to somebody. They was like, gave him an opportunity. I didn't get the opportunity, and it just happened that way. And it's unfortunate, but that's just like I didn't handle it well. If I'm being honest, I didn't handle it the most mature way I could have, and that's something that I always own and deal with within myself. But at the same time, I'm a human being. Like there's no conversation. It's not even like hey, let's have the people who I think could do good in this job. Let's do like a RFP or something like that. Yeah. Now you don't want triple bid, but you want triple bid for other stuff. You know what I mean? Like they didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? So again, the game is rough. I'm telling you, it's a rough game out here. But I'm better for it in the long run because like I said, it's not meant to always be easy. And I think nothing worth having comes easy. So I know now, that getting through those quote unquote rough days has made me a better person, not just a better employee, but a better person in general, just because now I kind of like, I won't be blindsided again, put it that way. Next time it's something like that, I'll be like, okay, like, I'll make sure, I'll be ready for that job when it comes up, because at the end of the day, if you're not liked by these people, it's, you're already kind of
But what happens though, Larry? So you with Adidas, you take all of this pressure and, you're not liking the situation. Now it becomes a point, any company, right? Forget Adidas, any company. There are other companies that are technically competing with Adidas that would consider to be on the same level, right? The question now becomes this. Do you take your resume now that you have company A on it and just go to company B and hope and pray that the climate is not the same? Do you go to company C and hope and pray that the climate is not the same? Or do you say, you know what, let me go to a startup company, right? Or a lower brand company, get a different position and bring them all the expertise of the higher up companies, and that way change the culture on the way up before they get there. Because now right now you're in a position where you're trying to change something that's already been their culture for so many amount of years. You're stepping into it as an outsider, trying to change their normalcy. Now the question is, do you continue in that path for the same money, more money, doesn't matter? Or do you say, how do I effectively change the culture? Do I get a lower brand that's not affected this way, that doesn't think this way, and mold them and help them grow so that they become something different entirely?
Yeah. We know this, especially like in any relationship, women, your friends, grass not always greener. So, not knowing, and you don't know what you don't know. So I mean, another brand beneath, above, parallel, whatever the case may be, it may be worse over here. And it's one of those things. But again, it's that leap of faith that we've been talking about pretty much the whole pod. Like, do you just, for your peace of mind, do you want to take a leap of faith and try something different? I mean, also being super transparent. If you are going through these interview processes and you're like, hey, I mean, for instance, I want to know about culture up front and right away. I want to know what kind of culture it is and if I fit into that versus focusing on the check. Because what I don't want to do again is align myself with a brand where culturally I just don't fit. Like, you can't tell me we're a bunch of basketball fans and all y'all want to do is sit in the suite. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, y'all just want to sit in the suite, take the pictures and stuff like that. Now, I'm actually watching the game because it's the game I love. Like, I'm a hoop fanatic. Like, you know what I mean? The nuances behind it, the ins and outs of it, all that stuff. Again, that doesn't make me a better employee or lack thereof, but we don't dress the same, we don't talk the same, we don't do the same thing. So I also understanding that and being okay with that is important, as I move forward.
I'm gonna say Skechers better holler. Somebody better holler. Skechers better holler.
Again, because there are people out there. There are people out there with successful clothing lines, sneaker lines at a lower level that are still making millions of dollars, right? Yep. That would do nothing but benefit from somebody with your knowledge and experience, period, right? That's what I'm saying, right? See, in today's culture, you don't have to be with a giant to be successful, right? The way money moves now, social media and stuff like that, you can get with a smaller company and be just as successful or more than if you were with a giant company because you have more runway, you have more leeway, you have more creativity, you have more time and to do what you want to do to create the culture the way it needs to be created. So that's why I asked that
perfect
question.
Example, 2 weeks ago, we had Hamid on. Shout out to Hamid Safai, bro.
Safai.
Yeah, so he ran Liquid Death, bro. He turned them into $1 billion company. He ran their entire marketing. And he said the same thing. He was like, yo, bro, I was at these big corporate companies. I was at the agency world. I was getting the awards and stuff like that, but it felt whack. I felt like I was a small piece of a larger puzzle, and I had no identity there. Went to Liquid Death, bro, turned it up and made it $1 billion company and exited. And now he's on the second brand. You feel me, bro? So there's a lot of different avenues to do it, bro. That startup culture is definitely, that's like I said earlier, that's why I didn't go to Google. It's red tape. It's like, yo, can't create content. It's like, we're going to have to review your content. Fuck you mean go review my content? It's just LinkedIn post. Fuck you mean? I'm on LinkedIn doing my thing. That's how you found me. You feel me?
Right. So look, immediate red flag. Immediate red flag. You found me on LinkedIn. And now you want to review my post, so you reviewed them enough to give me the interview or holler at me. But so what's the difference? I'm good because that already tells you what they're looking at. Yeah, we've seen you enough to introduce ourselves, but we not really rocking with what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? I think we have to make better decisions. I think with the experience, not only from yourself, but people hearing your story, listening to you and learning from you, they can use that for themselves to be more confident and ask better questions when they go in interviews, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, ask more in-depth, detailed questions. Stop going to an interview for a job and just letting them interview you. And you just answering all the questions like a fucking robot. Ask them some questions, right? Yeah, like what's the climate like here? What's the culture like here?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? What do you value? Can I come and do my job and not worry about being in a toxic environment? You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Or are you going to scrutinize like what are we talking about? Like, do you actually want the best candidate for the job, or are you just trying to check off a couple boxes?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are we talking about here, right?
Absolutely.
And that's when I talk about the dangerous part, because when you're younger, see, when I was younger doing what I was doing, I might, okay, I gotta learn the game. You see what I'm saying? I gotta learn the game, but I'm just being honest with you, Larry. Like, you understand, one of the last jobs I walked away from, my owner she wanted to offer me less money for a job. This is a real conversation. He said, hey, I can't pay you the same. This job was bid a little less, right? Bids, right? I go, okay, let me entertain the conversation. How much less? She's like $10, $15 an hour. I said, okay, no problem. Can I do $10, $15 an hour less work?
Less work,
Less work, right?
No,
she said, look, Larry, she said, huh? I said, huh? She said, huh? I said, huh? You didn't understand? We both speak English. She's like, I don't understand. I said, what don't you understand? Let me educate you now on me being educated. One, you work for the company directly. You're a VP. That means you get a salary. You having the company that I work for, they gave that to you because you work for the company. So you're double dipping, which means that you're not even paying me what they're paying you to have me here anyway. So you're already paying me less. Now let's talk about my work ethic. Do I do normal work or do I always do above and beyond? Well, you always work above and beyond. So technically, you're not paying me what I'm worth anyway. And now you want me to take another 50? I'm good. You see, so you understand? If they're not used to us having that comp. They're not used to us being intelligent. They're not used to the rebuttal with the intelligent responses. They're not used to it.
I think the most important thing, what I got from that about you, or just in general from both of you gentlemen, is like you guys know yourself, and that's so powerful. You know exactly who you are, and know who you are, who you want to be, and how you want to be represented. You know, how you show up to things and things of that nature. Like another individual, someone younger, like you said, maybe would have just been like, all right, I'll just take the money because, you know, I still attached to this brand or this company, or whatever the case may be. Someone who knows their value, knows their worth, you know, that's super important as well. That lines with like knowing yourself. You know your value and your worth, you won't accept less. Because like I said earlier, once you start taking less, I mean, why would they stop? Because if you did that job, the next time she'd be like, hey, guess what, man? Like, I got it. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's what it had. Right.
Yeah.
So you, I mean, you did it. I'm sure it probably caught her off guard. She was like, what? But at the end of the day, you saved her a problem for the future. You're like, look, you go try to do this again to me. Or, I mean, if you got the negotiation swag, you'd be like, oh, I need that back end money, whatever the case may be, to get that. But one way or another, know how to negotiate to where you're not being taken advantage of. Whoever in a situation like yourself.
But you know what it was? It's we get signs, Larry, and I don't know how spiritual you are. But
very.
You know, I'm a very spiritual person. I believe that we a lot of times get signs to tell us it's time to go. It's time to walk away in relationships, personal, intimate, and friendships and business. We get signs. We just get caught up in the situation and we ignore the signs a lot of the times, right? That for me was a sign that said enough is enough, because you're going to pay me less and still do the same dumb shit. You see? You're not going to pay me less and then I get less stress. You're still going to pay me less. You're going to want more. Then you're going to try to cheat me on the next one even more. And I'm going to spiral down anyway. So mental health now, what is it worth to me? Nothing.
Absolutely. Right.
Nothing.
I mean, that's something that I've been sitting with for a while now. Like, I ignored basic signs. I'll give you a story. In January.
Hold on. You gonna give us a story? Hold on. We got to go into the period. You about 7 period. Story time. Story time. Let's get it.
In January, one of my athletes, they did a game in Europe, and I'll just straight up, I'm not gonna say the name of the athlete, it's irrelevant, but played an NBA game in Paris, and my title from global, so I build an activation, and I hand it off to my European counterpart or market. They took it, they did what they adjusted it and manipulated a little bit. You know, it wasn't as grandiose as it should have been, because this player that I was, working with is a, multi-time all-star, all NBA, blah, 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 all the accolades, deserves something way bigger. But that being said, when it's my activation, I expect to be there as well, to make sure to oversee it, make sure, of course, you can't go for whatever reason, budget reasons, right? Anyhow, I'm one of those people, I don't wait around. I went anyways. As I mentioned, every BU has different functions. You have comms, you have design, you have merch, you have sports marketing, which is like SPOMA, the direct correlation with the athlete. So I'm out there, and they had like a team dinner. I wasn't invited. So I see my athlete's mom after the game, and she was like, "Where were you at last night?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Oh, I asked about you while you weren't at dinner," and I was like, "Oh, what'd they say?" And she just kind of gave me like a shoulder shrug. I was like, "Yeah, that sounds about right." But
wow,
that's something where I should have been like, okay, y'all like that. Okay, cool. I mean, like, and remember, I told you earlier in my whole little soliloquy, like, I'm told I can't be friends with people. I didn't ask Buddy to be at the dinner. Like, that's not how I work and stuff like that. But in the day, like, if we're all one brand, all one family, quote unquote, we do this I love you type stuff and kumbaya and stuff like that. Why am I not at the dinner? I ain't going for that. You know what I mean? Like, my plate wasn't gonna be $1,000, and charged to the games, all on the same budget, blah, blah, blah. But it's just that funny style actions that I continually see over and over again across the board, where I was just like, I saw it, I processed it, but then at the very last point when it was like just exit, I was like, it'll get better. It got to. It has to get better. And it just wasn't getting better. And I allowed myself to, like I said, affect and impact my well-being mentally, for the wrong things. And again, I'm as I've come out on the other end now of that, I mean, I definitely feel, stronger as an individual, as a person, because like I said, I'll never happen again. I promise you that. We'll do this again one day, and we're gonna be talking about it like, oh, I'm like, oh, I just left this company. Oh, what happened? Oh, they were acting funny on Monday. Wait, Larry, it's Tuesday. Yeah, they was acting funny yesterday. I left. And I left. I mean, I'm not gonna wait. 6-7 months. Right. So
because common sense would dictate, if I have a worker, again, what is the real message that we are sending versus what we think that they're sending? If I have a worker and I say to the worker, hey, Larry, you did a great job with this activation. It's just not in the budget to send you there. And you like, fuck it. I'm gonna front the ticket by myself and go. Right off the bat, you get the superstar tag. Oh, he's super, because you're not working for yourself. You're working for the company. Anything that you do that benefits the company benefits the company. You understand what I'm saying? So if you go there, you knock this, like Jarrett said, you knock this out the park. It's a home run. You don't miss. Now, watch what happens. If you'd have did that and somehow made it completely better, they would have took credit for that shit. You know that, right?
What you mean? Would have?
Somebody would have took.
No, I'm saying you said what is it they didn't?
Oh, see,
yeah,
see?
I mean, like that's their activation. It wasn't mine. I had nothing to do with it. Like,
right.
I had nothing to do with it. So
right,
yeah. And it is not about getting acknowledgement, because I don't need that portion of it. I'm just saying it's a very interesting, funny space. Like I said, we have to maintain our composure at all times when some fuck shit happens, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we prioritize our well-being, our happiness. Like,
that's a fact.
I disregarded it, and and on the back end, I started getting mad at the wrong people. And at the end of the day, if I'm being honest, I had to look in the mirror. I should have just been like, yo, y'all were doing weird shit, and I let y'all do it. As I keep saying, I let y'all do it, get away with it, and y'all just kept going. You're like, oh, Larry let it happen, and so how can I be mad at them for doing what I allowed them to do?
That's it.
That's a fact, man. Listen, Larry, I just want to tell you, man, just let them know next time, man, you got us, man, because me and Cuzzo, man, you do it one time, this is my response right off the bat.
Raise up, gonna be trouble.
That's a fact, though.
You only getting one shot at it. It better be your best, man.
Better your best shot, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love the story, bro. Like, there was a lot of real gems in here, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I definitely, I see you got the talent, bro. You know what I'm saying? We definitely rooting for you over here, bro. I appreciate it. Over here. I appreciate it. We extend the offer to everybody who's been on the show, bro. Anybody who's been on the show that you want to connect with, bro, just let us know. We'll make the introduction. You got brothers here. We're going to be together in Black Week. We're going to get stupid at Black Week. It's going to be crazy.
Absolutely.
We're going to be crazy. I'm telling you right now. You think this is, nigga, in person is going to be different.
In person, we get crazy in person.
We're going to be crazy. And it's a home game? Oh, you shit.
I need y'all to take me to get the best chopstick, whatever, the little sandwich.
Chop cheese.
Yeah, I need one of those. I need one of those. I need some oxtails.
Definitely take you to get some oxtails.
Yeah,
I need that. I need that. I need that. After that, we'll be good. Absolutely. Yeah. Man, I appreciate you guys so much, man.
My cousin is pretty much saying is welcome to the family, man. Welcome to the More Than the Title family. We don't believe in gatekeeping over here. Like, again, this is what we created this platform for you to be the best that you can be, and for us to work together to actually change the culture. You understand? So like you said, what we like to do is we like to start a group chat. So we got Larry's okay. We're gonna start a group chat, Larry, between me, you, and Cuzzo. We don't do agents and managers and shit. We contact directly, right? So that way, if you need something, we can get on it in real time, right? So like you said, we're almost up to 150 episodes. Any guest that's been on the show before that you might want to connect with. Even if you don't want to connect with them, if we find somebody that we think you're going to connect with, we're going to connect you guys anyway. You understand? So you might get a text like, yo, we're going to connect you with so-and-so because they might be grateful. That's what we do. We don't gatekeep over here. And any future guests that will come on the show later on, you now have access to, and you know, obviously you'll extend the same courtesy to other guests. Absolutely. That's how we build community, because it takes a village to raise us, but it still takes a village to maintain the village. You understand?
Absolutely. You're gonna see a Black Week, bro. We got at least 10, 15 prior guests there, bro.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. So it's gonna be family out there.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Matter of fact, segue to that. Thursday, y'all, we got J.R. McIntyre, the Hood Motivator. That's Tay-K's uncle, y'all. So he's gonna come through, talk about what happened with his nephew, how the trial went down, how it impacted the family, how he ended up pivoting. Plus, he's a U.S. Army veteran. He's gonna talk about experience in the battlefield and how he's basically holding the family down that has happened, bro. And that's episode 149. Episode 150, we got R&B legend Ryan Toby coming through, one of the illest R&B pens out here. You know what I mean? Superstar, high, all that sister act. He's pulling up, man, for episode 150. And episode 151, we got minority owner of the Washington Nationals, Doyle Mitchell, pulling up, man. So another.
Hold on. Let's give the horn for that. Let's give the horn for that.
What you doing, man?
And again, for you audio listeners and for you first time listeners, Doyle is the second minority owner we'll have on the show, because we are already good friends with Paxton Baker. It's a celebration, bitches. we already had Paxton Baker on the show, who's another minority owner of the Washington Nationals. So that's what we're trying to show you guys. We're building. Larry, do me a favor, please let the people know where they can get in contact with you. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people that want to get in contact with you and ask you some questions and just, you know, connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best way to get in contact with me is on LinkedIn, on IG, Living Legend, LVNLEGEND. So I reach out. I'm here to be a resource for anybody, or just be a voice if you guys need someone to talk to and just vent to. Appreciate you brothers for this opportunity and this platform. I mean, it's amazing, honestly, man. I wish I had y'all a couple years ago, man. But
we here now, though. We here now.
God don't make mistakes.
We here now.
Absolutely. And it goes crazy. I was pressing Dre to post something about that camp. I was like, man, you gotta post something. You gotta post something. And then when you hit me up, Jared, I was like, see, I told you something good was gonna come out of this. So I'm gonna post it.
And I told you, that's good, man. So we definitely gotta we get the Black Week. I would say before we end it, we might as well, since we're the official podcast and the sponsor, we got to play the Black Week video, then we'll end it off.
Okay. I put the video up real quick so everybody can know about Black Week.
You know what it is. We are the official podcast of Black Week. We are moving. We got an activation with Procter & Gamble. We're gonna be out there with Bevel. We got the cameras going. We're going to see a lot of people. Shout to Dr. Collins, Lola, Ward, Adon, Dre. Now Larry pulling up. We got so many people.
Crazy.
The Chadeo pulling up. We got so many people, man. And we're going to bring our own More Than a Title community, too. So it's going to get ugly, y'all.
I love it. I promise. Here we go, Black Week. Hold on, people.
The current state of inclusion in this space is bullshit.
Black Week is a place where we can start to demystify Black ownership, Black wealth building, and our place in changing the narrative of advertising.
The objective of Black Week is to create a platform for the conversation.
I'm super excited to just say what we say in the group chat, because we are the only ones in the way of what we can get to.
The reality is no one is coming to save us. We have to come together and demand it. There's a reason why unions were formed. There's a reason why people come together, so that their collective force is an undeniable voice, right?
There's this fear that we want what's theirs, and that's not the case. It's about a fair opportunity.
We want to get together and celebrate with each other, but this isn't about participation trophies. This is about action.
Black Week is an opportunity for us to come together to realize our collective strength and power in this world.
Know what it is, man. So with that being said, Larry Hall, we appreciate you, brother, for coming on the show once again. If you listen to his story and realize that man gave up everything to go chase his dream, it reinforces the statement that we always leave you guys with. The dream is motherfucking free. You could dream every day, dream every day, dream every night. The dream is free, but the hustle that it takes to get up and go chase that motherfucker, well, that's sold separately. Sorry, not sorry.
What you know about me? Seeing what you know about me.